Next in this list, my friends, is Cox Gate. Now, when you read the medical terminology of Cox Gate, you'll find it similar to shuffling gait. But very many times, if you understand how a hen or a cock is walking, you'll understand the Cox Gate even better. So, with Cox Gate, you'll find one leg is in front of the other. So, they'll put one leg in front of the other in Cox Gate, like this. But obviously, Cox Gate can have two aspects. One, it can be obviously like a shuffling gait, which I mentioned for different other remedies. But in Cox Gate, when they put one feet in front of the other, remember you have that in top two remedies, lachesis and nux vomica. My reference for this is Borike's repertory, Boninghusen's characteristics and repertory as well, where you'll find Cox Gate, lachesis and nux vomica are remedies for that kind of a gait, where they put one feet in front of the other exactly. And that's important for your Cox Gate. Another very interesting gait, my friends, which you'll find also quite often, is what we call as a limping gait. So when they are walking, it's as if there is a limp. So as if when they are walking, you have to understand for limping gait, sometimes there is a contraction in this muscle, in the hamstring muscle. There is a contraction, there is a pull, there is a tense feeling in the hamstring muscle. So when they are walking, the limp is due to the contraction of the flexor muscles or the hamstring muscles. And the top remedy, my friends, for limping gait, because of the contraction of the flexors, is your causticum. Because causticum is a remedy for limping gait, causticum also has that tendency of the contraction of the hamstring muscles, the pull of the hamstring muscles. The hamstrings are shortened. Other remedies for that, for limping gait, you have that with dulcamara, you can have that with tabacum, but causticum is the top remedy for the limping gait because of the pull, because of the tension of the hamstring muscles, which is the important factor for causticum. Again, 200C, 1M and 10M are potencies for your causticum. The next gait, my friends, is also another very interesting gait where the patient walks stoop shouldered. So always it's like this, they're walking stoop shouldered. So there's a tendency for the stooping, and it's not more about the legs, it's more about the upper part. So when they are walking, there's a tendency to stoop, and that's important for remedies. And your top remedies for this kind of a stooping gait, you have that your top polycrest, sulfur and phosphorus. Obviously the constitutional symptoms will differentiate between the two related remedies, but sulfur and phosphorus are two top remedies for this kind of a stooping gait where they walk stooping, they stand stooping. Remember, manganum aceticum can also have the stooping gait, but manganum aceticum there is a tendency to fall forward as I'm going to catch up with my center of gravity. But in case of sulfur phosphorus, there is no tendency to fall, it's just they are walking stooping. But manganum aceticum also walks stooped, but there's a tendency to fall in association, in conjunction with the stoop in manganum aceticum, which is one of the very important differences for comparative metromedica. So that's about your stooping gait. You have that with sulfur and phosphorus. Now you can have another very interesting gait, is what we call as a stumbling gait. So when they are walking, it's as if so there's a tendency to stumble, there's a tendency to fall. It's as if there was a wood, something was there, as if some stones were there, some obstacle was there, and that's why so there's a tendency to stumble, there's a tendency to fall in such remedies. And the stumbling gait, you have that with agaricus and you have that with phosphoric acid. Agaricus and phosphoric acid are remedies where there's a tendency to stumble easily. Now if you think of agaricus can also have a lot of involuntary movements, lot of tics and twitches in agaricus. But remember, one of the keynote indications of agaricus with neurological conditions, and they may have the stumbling gait, is a sensation as if needles were pricking in the skin. And there's a temperature variation to it, as if it can be ice cold needles or it can be hot needles which are pricking the skin. So when they are walking, as if they meet with an obstacle and they fall. You know, what was there? Was something there? No. But I still had a tendency to fall. I stumbled. And that's important for agaricus and phosphoric acid. With agaricus, remember, it's pins and needle sensation. Hot needles or ice cold needles were pricking in the skin. And that's very important for your agaricus. That's very important for phosphoric acid. Now, next gait, my friends, is not actually a particular gait, but this is how Platina walks. Your Platina metallicum. Remember, Platina, when she walks, is like a queen. Oh, I'm the queen of the world. So head is erect, eyes turned away from everyone else, looking down upon everyone. Everything is smaller. I am the queen and I'm walking like a queen. So the head is erect, always she is the queen of the world. It says, remember, platinum is the costliest metal and she believes herself to be very costly as well. So it's always like a queen-like demeanor, and that walking is like a queen, is head erect, eyes turned away from everyone, everything is inferior, everything is smaller, and I'm the ruler of the world. So that you can find with Platina metallicum or Platina, my friends. Another very interesting thing you'll observe for patients with gait again is a tendency that whenever they are walking, they're walking like this, and the ankles tend to turn. So the leg is everted, ankles tend to turn like this when they're walking, and they will come down with pain. Oh, suddenly they're walking. So the ankles tend to turn very easily when walking, resulting in frequent injuries, resulting in frequent tendon injuries, ligament injuries. And top remedies for that is Lidum and Carboanimalis. Lidum and Carboanimalis for ankles turn easily when walking, and that's very important. With Lidum, whenever they're having this recurrent sprains of the ankles, they'll put an ice pack on it, they feel much better. So ice application, cold application makes it better for Lidum. So that's an important factor for Lidum and Carboanimalis, which is an important factor. Now, another important aspect you'll find with many gaits, and many metromedicals describe that, is what we call as a staggering gait. Most of the neurological remedies which you come across, you will find they have a tendency to stagger. That means whenever they're walking, it's a tendency to fall, there's a tendency to sway, there's a tendency to stagger. The balance is not there properly. It's also what many metromedicals describe as locomotor ataxia. A means absent, tax means strength. So the strength of the muscles, the balance is not there. So whenever I'm walking, there's a tendency to stagger, there's a tendency to sway. It's what we call as a staggering gait. You have top neurological remedies like argentum nitricum, alumina, gelsemium, conium, onosmodium. These are all top neurological remedies which have got this staggering gait. Cocculus indica. So staggering gait is an important factor where you have with neurological remedies. I repeat, alumina, argentum nitricum, conium, cocculus, onosmodium, tabacum. These are all remedies which have staggering gait. Now with these staggering gait, you have to understand there has to be a peculiarity. You cannot prescribe just on the basis of staggering gait. When you come across patients with staggering gait and they will tell you, look at me when I'm walking, look at me, oh, I'm going to fall down. So they fall down when they're unobserved. You know, please keep a look on me. I feel I'm going to fall down. I feel I'm not having balance. Look at me, oh, I'm going to fall down. So they fall, the tendency to stagger more when unobserved. Remember, that's always argentum nitricum. So staggering when unobserved, that's argentum nitricum, and that's very important for your arginate. that they need support, they need somebody to help them balance. Also, you'll find with arginate that whenever they're standing with the eyes closed, they're falling down. So A, they need somebody to look at them, to observe them. When unobserved, the tendency to fall, or when they close their eyes, there's a tendency to fall. So in both the aspects, arginate is a very important remedy to help such cases. Another aspect of staggering gait, you'll find that there's a tendency to stagger when they see a dark room. Oh, it's dark, it's closed, nobody is there in the room. I'm going to fall down. So it's dark and nobody's in the room, I'm going to fall down there. You have that with stramonium. Remember, in stramonium there's a fear of darkness, fear of being alone. When you combine that with the staggering, stramonium becomes a very important remedy for staggering when in the dark or when alone. So in the dark or when alone, that we have with stramonium, my friends. Now, another very interesting remedy before we finish up is you'll come across very, very few cases where the patient walks backward better. So they'll tell you to walk forward and I cannot walk better. If I walk backward, I can walk much, much better. And my friends, the gait where the patient is walking backward, so the gait where they walk backward, and that, my friends, is Oxytropis. Oxytropis is a remedy where there is a tendency to walk backward better. So that's important for Oxytropis. Remember, in Oxytropis is a neurological remedy, and one of your also leading remedies for complaints aggravate when thinking of them. So my friends, this brings us to an end of this interesting session on gaits. I shared with you how you can look at the walk and you can diagnose the remedy. Remember Hahnemann's key instructions on case taking, that it is what you yourself observe in the patient that is also of prime importance in such cases. So look at the patient, how he is walking, how he is behaving, gesture, posture, try to understand the remedy in some cases and come up with the prescription. Try to understand the comparative metromedic I shared with you in such cases, and I'm sure you'll be a wonderful prescriber in such cases. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Long live Hahnemann, long live homeopathy.